Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another live stream. I hope you guys are doing okay today. I am doing pretty good today myself. I got over the sickness that I had. Of course, last week I wasn't here because I was sick, and it actually started last Sunday with a sore throat, and it felt like it was in my lungs, and it was not a good day. It was not a good day because that day started a whole week of being sick all the way into the new year. So I'm glad I'm feeling better now, though. Marty Baker, welcome. How is Marty doing tonight? And Invisible River Ranch, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you on here tonight. And welcome to CG Anime Fan. Hey, CG. Hope you're doing well. I pulled your book out again, and I'm gonna look at it again and give it a good read again. So, Brent Mania, what's up, Brent? Hey, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope everything is going well for you. And I hope you are feeling better. I know the last time you were on here, you said you were going through a little bit of depression, and I hope that has cleared up and you're doing better now. So, how did you guys celebrate your Christmas and New Year's? Did you have a good time? And what did you do, Brent? I like that emoji, Brent. That's pretty good. And also, what did you do to celebrate the New Year's? Did you bring in the New Year's? Did you stay up all night, or did you go to bed early, or uh, what did you do? What I did is I went to bed early. CG says thank you for being really nice and friendly to me. He was feeling dehydrated, so he's been working on drinking more water. It's always a good thing to drink plenty of water. CG says he spent Christmas with his family and they opened presents. That is the best way to spend Christmas. What did you do for New Year's? Did you ring in the New Year's with your family, or did you sleep it through? Like I said, I slept it through. Brent said he slept it through as well. So that's at least two of us that slept in the New Year. So I got my little buddy here today. He's hanging out in my lap tonight, and so Tigger says hey to everybody. He wants me to put him back down in my lap so he can be comfortable. Let's see. Invisible says it was more fun hanging out with the cat. Chuck, hey Chuck Jacobs, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well, and I hope your wife is doing better. How are you? And what did you do for the new year? Um, looks like the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous is coming up in days. It's not very far from now. Are you planning on going to the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous? TG says for years he just stayed up and worked on videos. Invisible said he made pizza. I guess you're talking about your New Year's. I'm so glad that I live in the South and don't have to deal with snow. I have a couple friends who live up in the northern parts of the United States, and those poor guys and gals, they have to deal with the snow every year. They have to go out there and spend time shoveling it. Personally, I think the South is too hot during the summertime. I wish I had a house up north where I could go during the summertime up there, and then then in the wintertime I could come down here and stay down here. Britt says, "How was your Christmas?" My Christmas was pretty good. I we just me and Carol, we just hung out, and we didn't have any family come. this year for Christmas, so it was just kind of a quiet Christmas this year. We just kind of spent it together and just hung out and had a good time and exchanged presents, of course. Brent said he has some snow. No, I was just saying I don't like the snow. I would hate to have to spend time every morning digging out doing the shoveling and getting all the snow off the car and ready to drive. So, yeah. Chuck says he is probably not going to the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous this year because he is taking care of his wife. Well, I'm sorry that you're not going to be able to make it, but I certainly understand that you need to be there and taking care of your wife because she certainly needs your help. Brent says we don't have enough snow where we have to dig out, so that's good. Yeah. I guess it just depends on who gets hit the hardest with the snow. Some people get hit hard with it, some people don't. And occasionally, once every so often, we'll get snow down here, and so it gets kind of snowy down here once in a long while. And CG says he is also not a big fan of snow. Badlands Bandit, welcome in. How are you doing, my friend? What did you do for New Year's and Christmas? He says hello to the Retire Inspired Nation and Happy New Year. And Brent is praying for your wife, Chuck. So as we all are, we hope that she does do better, that she feels better. Badlands says no snow there in Maryland, just seasonally cold. Well, that's good. I guess the snow is just hitting the Northeast the most. I wonder if New York is getting any snow. Now Brent says he'll send CG some snow coming in the mail. Well, I have a bunch of orders that came in over the weekend. I had 14 that I spent this afternoon getting packed up and ready to send out because I have a dental appointment tomorrow. It's not a major dental appointment. I don't have to get my teeth drilled on or anything like that. But I'll be going in and getting my teeth cleaned at the dentist office. So that's what the dental appointment is for. But since I'm going to be going to the dental appointment in the morning, I thought I'd get ahead of the curve and pack up a bunch of my packages that had to go out tomorrow. So that's what I did this afternoon. After church, we went to a buffet and ate too much, way too much. They had ribs on the buffet that were delicious, and I had more than I should have. But they were good. I enjoyed them. They were really good. And then I came home, took a little nap in the chair for a couple hours, and then came over here and spent the rest of the afternoon packing up all the items that sold over the weekend. And I'll share that with you. It has been one heck of a year between eBay and selling in the flea market, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about. I got my numbers all put together for the flea market, and I'll share that with you guys so you can kind of see, so you can kind of judge whether or not you would do something like that. I think I'm glad that I did the flea market. I really have enjoyed it. And eventually, what my plan on doing as I get closer and closer to Social Security age, which is 62 for me because I'll be collecting mine at 62. What I plan on doing is probably cutting back on a lot of the eBay stuff and spending more time with the booth and putting more time and energy into selling on the booth because when that happens, I'll have a couple of more streams of income that I don't currently have that will more than take care of any needs that I have as far as financially go as it financially goes. Um, Brent says it's 28 degrees where he is. Well, it's 68 degrees here. And I think that was the high for the day was 68 degrees here in Montgomery. And so we've had a bright, beautiful, sunny day, and it's really, it's been pretty pleasant. Chuck, of course, we are gonna keep you in our prayers, and we're all thinking about you. And it's hard to be a caregiver, and especially when you're taking care of someone that you love and care for, and they're declining in health and that sort of thing. But we will definitely be keeping you and your wife in our prayers. Marty says New York is getting snow. How do you know, Marty? Did you see it on the news? CG says that he appreciates the offer for Brent to send some snow, but he doesn't want any snow. And Badlands says they stayed in Maryland. I stayed here in Maryland. Kids all came with came. I'm having trouble reading tonight. The kids all came here with their spouses, families, and watched the Breakfast Club leading up to the ball dropping. Cool. I always liked Molly Ringwald. I thought she was a good actress, and I think it's pretty cool that she's got kids, kids now that are older than she was when she made that movie, The Breakfast Club, and she has had they had an interview with her on it, and I watched it, and she was talking about how they perceived her as a teenager playing the role that she played in that movie, and it was pretty interesting. Marty says she likes the video posted. Okay. I guess she's talking about the one where we went to Daleville and visited. And Tigger is here in my lap. Did you not see him earlier? I had him on the camera earlier. I'm not going to hold him too long up here because he wants to be comfortable. So I'll let him lay down. Brent's still teasing CG talking about putting his snow in the mail. Yeah, Invisible. He's been watching it. What's up, Dash? How are you doing, my friend? What did you do for Christmas and New Year's? Good to see you on here. He said it doesn't feel like January. Well, I don't know what the temperature is there in Dallas, but it has been pretty warm here. We go from warm to really cold to warm to really cold, and that's good weather to get real sick. I did get my flu shot, but like I said, I'm just now getting over. I'm just now getting over being sick, because I started getting sick last Sunday. I was under the weather. That's why I didn't do my live stream, and I've just kind of been, going through the whole thing this whole week and just getting over it. Invisible says last year was colder. And Brent says it doesn't feel like January indeed. What's the temperature like there, Dash, in Dallas? What's the weather been like there for you? And have you found any cool things to sell on eBay? How is your eBay store going? Brent says his mom's former college roommate lives in Rochester, and she said yesterday they got snow. Okay. And Marty asked, are we going to watch any college football game playoffs? No, I don't think so. I'm not a big college fan. I mean, I do like college football when Auburn is playing, but if Auburn's not playing, I really don't watch it too much. Chuck said he just put his 700th YouTube video up today. Wow, that's a lot of videos, Chuck. You've really done well with the YouTube. You've got quite a bit of following. I think, what are you up to, about 8,000 subscribers now? You've really come a long way. I think a lot of it has to do with the van life stuff that you put up. I know you got a real big bump in the van life videos when you put the one out about the female van life van dwellers, and some of them took offense to what you said because they didn't really watch the whole video, because you were actually complimenting them on what they were doing. Dash says it's 80s most days and 50s and 60s at night there in Dallas. And Brent says the weather feels like January, but time goes fast. Hard to believe it's January already. Yeah, I know. I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to doing taxes. I really, I hate when taxes come around in April and I have to file my taxes. I have a spreadsheet that I use to keep up with all my eBay stuff, and sometimes I get behind on updating it, so I have to sit down for a few hours and put all the stuff in, and it just takes a lot of time. I should be more diligent about keeping up with that spreadsheet and making sure that it is updated more regularly. And Marty says, how can you sell stuff on eBay? Well, it's simple. You just take a picture, put a price, and list it. Chuck says he has 6,700 subscribers. So that's still really good. You're doing great, Chuck. I'm just surprised that you've never monetized. I know you do it. You don't do it for the money, but if you're putting the videos out there, you might as well you might as well get a paycheck, because you know that YouTube is getting paid for your videos, so you might as well get part of it. And Brent says he just subscribed to Chuck. Good job. Y'all all need to be subscribing to Chuck. He's got a really good channel, and I like his different. He has a variety of different videos. He has some that he does that have to do with camping and traveling and that sort of thing. He has some that has to do with repairing his vehicle, and some that have to do with repairing home appliances. And then he has a whole bunch of videos on Sasquatch. So I encourage you guys to go check out Chuck's channel if you're not already a member. Consider subscribing to his channel. Brent asked, what was your favorite TV show as a kid? There was a movie that, our video, man, I'm getting confused. There was a TV show that came on Saturdays, and I think it was called Land of the Lost. And it had these people that went back and ended up in prehistoric times somehow. It was a man and his two children, his daughter and his son. It was called Land of the Lost, and they had these things on there called slee stacks. Anybody that is my age or older knows what I'm talking about. But they had this creature on there also that looked like a bush. That's about the only way I can describe him, and I can't remember what his name was. But it was one of the creatures that they made friends with in the Land of the Lost. I think the boy's name was Will. I can't remember the girl's name, but I can't remember the dad's name either. And I don't know what happened to the mom. But I think they were just out going somewhere, and they ended up getting caught up in this thing and sent back to the Land of the Lost. Also, I enjoyed the old Star Trek TV shows, the ones with Captain Kirk and Spock and all the original casting characters. That's a good question, Brent. Uh, CG says, I hope that 2026 is a great upbeat year for you, your loved ones, and your channel. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, CG. That is very kind of you. I really appreciate it. And CG says that he thinks that The Land of the Lost got a film adaptation in 2009. Yeah, it did. It did. They remade it, and they made a movie about it. Um, yes, so that is absolutely correct. And it was pretty close to the original TV series as well. Dash says the Wrath of Khan is the best. Yeah, I like the newer Star Treks as well. The ones that with the original cast members. There's I think there was a total of 6 movies altogether. I have the whole um, VHS set in my inventory. If you want to watch it, you can order it out of my inventory. And Brent is right on target. He says Will and Holly Marshall. That's right. Do you remember the dad's name? I forgot her name was Holly, but yeah, that's exactly right. It was Will and Holly Marshall that were in Land of the Lost. And Brent says growing up, his favorite shows was Mister Rogers and Disney's Recess. I don't remember Disney's Recess, but of course we all remember Mister Rogers. And Invisible says he liked Lost in Space. Lost in Space was a little bit before my time. I don't remember seeing any reruns of Lost in Space, but I have seen a few episodes on the TV channel or something like that. Brent says Dad was Rick. Marty says she used to watch Barney and Wiggles Kids. And CG grew up watching superheroes cartoons. Yeah, Invisible says he is a little older. I told you guys I would share a little bit about my YouTube and my eBay and my flea market booth and how they're doing. I know that's something that you like to hear about, especially those of you who are resellers. And you want to keep up with how your competition is doing. But we're not competition. We all work together, right? We all help each other out, and that's what we want to do. We want to help each other out and give each other tips and share information about what's available and that sort of thing. But the last month on eBay has been just amazingly crazy. But I'll share that with you. The sales that I've had in the last month have been close to $8,000 in the last 31 days. Which, if you've been watching me, you know that typically it's around 5,000 a month. And so that's what I typically make. But it's been doing really good. Brent says Richard Kiel was on that show as well. You must have looked it up on something on Google or something like that. Spencer James Milligan was an American actor. He was best known for the role of Rick Marshall, the father of Will and Holly. Heartbeat of business. So I'll start out with sharing with you guys a little bit of my. I did a little spreadsheet see if I can flip my camera around here and show it to you. I don't know how it will come out, if you'll be able to see the screen or not. But that's my spreadsheet, and I've kind of broken it down by month. And so I started my selling on in the flea market. You know, the first flea market booth closed after only 31 days. And so April, I made $944. These are the actual total sales before any fees or anything like that was taken out. And then May is when I got into the flea market at Eastbrook, and my first month was pretty good, $1,160. And then my second month was $1,309, and July was $1,133. August was $1,780. That was my biggest month, and then it started going down. And so September and October were the two slowest months, and it was really a drastic change from what I had been seeing. But so October was the lowest month. So September was $603, October was $466, and then November it started coming back up to $958. But December was the best month so far, and in December the sales were $1,953. So my total sales before taxes or fees or anything was $10,307.59 with my booth, and that's just since April of this year. But if you go down here where my net sales are, you can see that after fees and all that was taken out, my final amount that I received was $9,715. So that was the booth. I figured I would share that with you guys, and because I don't have the mall thing anymore, the Mall Central website where I can go and pull it up anymore. So they decided that was too expensive to keep paying for that, so they decided to drop that service, and so now they just email me the daily sales, and then the end of the every 2 week sales. So they keep a running track every day. They'll send out a new spreadsheet to tell us how much we've made that particular day, to include the sales from the previous, but like from the 1st to the 15th, and the 15th to the 31st of the month. Brent says he looked up about the actor, and yes, but he remembered the dad's name. Okay, good. I didn't think you were old enough to know about that. I didn't think you were old enough to have watched that. October was brutal. And Marty asked, how is my son doing? If you're talking about Justin, he is doing very well. His birthday is tomorrow, and he will be 30. He was born in 1991, so he'll be 35. He'll be 35 years old tomorrow. Invisible says average over 1,000 every month for the 9 months. Yeah, that's right. And the flea market booth is averaging about $1,000 a month, a little over $1,000 a month, if you think about it, which isn't terrible. You know, that's really good, actually. I've talked to some of the other vendors that are there in the flea market, and some of them weren't making enough to even pay for their booth, and so that's a losing situation there. If I had several months where I wasn't making enough to pay for the booth, then I would probably have to go ahead and close it out. Say goodbye to the flea. Excuse me, I still got a little bit of a cough. But I would have to say goodbye to the flea market if that was the case, because I can't be involved in a losing proposition. I can't give away stuff that I paid for and then have to pay extra on top of that. I just can't do that. Um, but thank goodness that has not been the case, and so I'm very pleased with how the flea markets have been doing, and I'm looking forward to 2026 and seeing how the second booth does, because as you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, I started a second booth in the same flea market. It's just down the hall from my first booth, and so far the second booth was open December 1st. December is a good December is a good month for selling because people are buying, for Christmas and that sort of thing. But January is also an excellent month for selling, and so uh, I think everybody's got grandma's check or whatever birthday gifts or Christmas gifts that they've gotten is cash or whatever, so they're going to go out and spend that money and buy stuff. So January is a good month as well for reselling. Invisible River says jump ships on one that sinks. Yep, absolutely. And Wanda Roundtree, hey, welcome, Wanda. How are you doing tonight? She says hello. Looks like you had nice visits with family. Anyone remember Planet of the Apes? Oh yes, I do remember Planet of the Apes. That was a very when Planet of the Apes came out, I was probably about 8 or 9, maybe 10 years old, and I didn't really understand all the underlying themes that were going on behind the scenes. You really had to be old enough to understand that sort of thing. I was, real young, and so, but when I watched it as an adult, I saw a lot of that stuff that I missed as a child. But I thought it was really interesting, Planet of the Apes. And then I know that they made some remakes of that as well. Um, but I still like the original Planet of the Apes better than the remakes. But the remakes they did were really well done, and the costumes that they made, how they make these people look like they're actually, I mean the costumes that they had back in the 70s when they made the original Planet of the Apes were pretty good for the time, but the ones that they have now are just, I mean, you can't it's amazing how well they made it where they actually look like ape people. Yep, and Invisible says Bright Eyes. Yeah, there was one character that they called Bright Eyes. Um, Wanda says it was kind of strange. So what are you doing, Wanda? Or did you have a good Christmas? And how was your New Year? What did you do to ring in the New Year? Tell us a little bit about it. As I was saying earlier, I kind of slept in the New Year. I'm not an adventuresome person, I guess, when it comes to going out and ringing it in. It's just not the big deal for me. I'd rather just go to bed and wake up the next day. But I am glad to be into a new year, 2026. I think it's going to be a good year. I hope it's going to be a good year. What do you guys think about the stuff that's going on in the news lately with the president of Venezuela being captured and taken to New York to be seen in a courtroom, and they're going to have a trial with him. It's been a while since we've taken a person out of their country. Like, I think the last one that we took out was Manuel Noriega. Uh, but it's kind of interesting how things are going with the country. We're threatening Mexico and threatening Venezuela, and it's there's just a lot of different things going on. Interesting. Not to get too political. Wanda says she was sick Christmas and was going to be low key anyway. Yeah, I was sick Christmas as well. I think there's been some kind of flu or something going around. I don't think I had the flu. Whatever I had started in my lungs, worked its way up to my head, and it just wreaked havoc the whole time. It took about 6 days for it to finally go away, and I was dosing up pretty heavy on the cough medicine and the Tylenol when I was going through it. It's there's nothing worse than having a stuffed up nose and you can't breathe, and then you start using that nasal spray. And I don't know if you know it or not, but that nasal spray is very addictive. You can get addicted to that stuff pretty easy. When I was in my early 20s, I started using it one year, and to help me breathe. And I didn't realize you could really get addicted to that stuff. And I started carrying it with me all the time. I couldn't breathe unless I had it. And I think I was using nasal spray for like 3 months solid. And then I was like, I got to get off of this stuff. It can't be good for you. Yeah, Visible River says Greenland. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Donald Trump is talking again about taking over Greenland and how strategic and important it is for the United States. I don't know what kind of repercussions that would bring to the United States if we decided to start just taking over other countries. That's kind of scary situation there. And Invisible says they said it was for drugs, but now it's about the oil. Of course, it's about the oil. Yep, I mean, if you know anything about Venezuela, you know Venezuela has the crude oil that is the best oil in the world, and they have a supply that can last forever. I mean, they have an unending supply. Um, so it's partially about the oil, and it's partially about the fact that Honduras is not considered a legitimate president because he actually lost the election, kind of like what Donald Trump was trying to do when January 6th, when they had the insurrection. But he actually was able to maintain his um, presidency even though he lost the election. And so he was not recognized by other world leaders as the president, but he still continued to go on as the president. I'm talking about Maduro. So, world's largest, yeah, they have the world's largest reserves there in that country. And Wanda says she was addicted to nasal spray years ago, and it is horrible because once you get addicted to it, you can't stop taking it, or you won't be able to breathe out of your nose. I guess you could go several days without being able to breathe out of your nose, and finally your sinuses will open up again. But that's the thing I worry about with nasal spray. It is still like he wants to do. Yep. Um, so so I showed you the booth, and it's done pretty good. $10,000 is not chicken change for January, February, March, for only 9 months of having a booth. $10,000, and that's just my first year doing it. So I was really happy with the sales on that. So I'm going to show you real quick what the eBay store is doing, has been doing. So So here's the chart for the last 31 days. And you can see that the last 7 days, my eBay store has done $2,037 in sales. The last 31 days, my eBay store has done $7,856.26. And then the last 90 days, my store has done $16,788.15. And you can see it's pretty consistent as far as, daily sales. My highest sale was December 26th for $669. That's the highest 1 days of revenue. And then the next highest day was Friday, the 2nd of January, $537. See, they're spending Meemaw's money, and they're getting that money out the door in $485.76. So over $1,000 in 2 days of sales. And then today's sales are at $263.21. So the sales are doing really good on eBay. And if you're on a fixed income, or if you're looking for a way to supplement your income, or if you're considering getting into selling on eBay, this is just part-time sales. I'm not a full-time eBay reseller. But this is a great way, a great side hustle, if you will, to make a little bit of extra money and supplement your income. Or even, if you get to the point where you get some good merchandise and you know what you're doing and making good money, then you can actually make a living off of eBay. But I wouldn't suggest, quitting your day job so that you can work on eBay, because you may end up losing everything. Wolfman's Goodies, welcome to the live stream. How you doing, Chad? He says, Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to you, Chad. I watched his live stream earlier, and Chad's another one to watch if you're not already watching. He is a really good eBay reseller and YouTuber, and he documents his selling on eBay every day. So you can watch him and you can see how he boxes his stuff up and how he packs his stuff up. And also he's got a second channel now where he has these cats that are feral, and he built a little house for them up on stilts and has warming blankets and everything for them. So that's really nice. Invisible says entire house and 4 storage buildings. Yeah, that's I have a house and 4 storage buildings full of inventory, not counting the 2 booths that have a lot of inventory as well. What I've started doing is I've started taking the video game consoles that I have, and I'll list them on eBay, and then I'll take them to the booth and keep them at the booth. And that way, if they sell in the booth, I can just take them off of eBay. And if they sell on eBay, then I can go and take them out of the booth. And the good thing about doing that with the booth is, if I take something out of the booth and there's a bare spot, an empty spot there, then people are like, oh, I missed out on it. I need to get it next time he puts one in. So they get that fear of missing out, or FOMO as they call it. But so yeah, the total sales are $7,856.26 for the last 31 days. Now I want to compare and contrast a little bit. I'm going to show you what my total sales were for the year of 2024, and then I'll show you what my total sales were for last year. They actually went down. It's kind of strange. So this is my my review for the year from January 1st of 2024 to December 30th of 2024. I'd sold $56,000.31 of stuff on eBay. A total of almost 800 items sold. 799 items were sold. And so you see, I made $56,000, but after taxes and selling cost of $17,000, almost $18,000 there, my net sales, which is what I took home, was $34,000, $34,579. Again, that's just doing it part time as a retiree, and a few hours a day. And there were some days I didn't even do anything. I mean, there are some days that I just don't feel like listing, and so I won't list, and um, it still does well. But you see, that's $56,031. That was for 2024. Now let's look at 2025, which was last year. And you see, my sales went from $56,031 to $51,599 for the year. So my sales actually went down, and I'm not sure, what was the cause of that? What was the purpose? What was the reason for that? But, well, I can also say that I spent more time doing other things like the booth this past year, 2025, than I did in 2024. I spent all my time doing eBay, and that was all I did was eBay. But I had pretty similar selling cost of $16,825, and my net sales for 2025, that's what I took home, was $31,398.27. So that's a pretty good amount of money for something that you don't really spend a whole lot of time doing. So if you ever want to sell part time and just to make a little bit of extra money, if you think that would be something you would be interested in doing, I strongly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. I don't want it to ever turn into a job, because if it ever turns into something that I feel like I have to, my throat's getting a little scratchy. But if it ever feels like it's something that I've got to do all the time in order to, be able to make ends meet and pay my bills and that sort of thing, that wouldn't be fun anymore. I want it to keep stay a hobby kind of thing, and a hobby that makes money. So that's how I feel about it and how I think of it. Invisible says it works for you. It works if you have only five items, just the same. Got to get your number up on the sales in beginning of can be rough. Yeah, one of the things that last year my sales were down in January, really down, and I think part of the reason for that was because I took off and went to Arizona for the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, and I was on the road for about 3 or 4 weeks. So I was gone for quite some time, and if you're out of the office for more than 2 weeks, and you need to close your store for more than 2 weeks, you won't even be able to make sales during that time. So that's one thing I was thinking about this year when I go, maybe not staying gone as long, and but I do like being able to spend that time and just relax and enjoy myself, and kind of come and go as I please. And it is good to stay busy. I agree with you completely on that. Um, I'm going to show you some of the things that I've sold recently so that you kind of get an idea of what sells on eBay. So, so here's some of the things that I've sold recently. I picked this camera up here recently at an estate sale, and I got like 5 cameras for $50. So I've got about $10 into that camera. It's a Canon EOS film camera, and it sold for $67.50. And I picked up a bunch of these DS games that were just loose, and I had a whole bunch of them, so I finally got them all listed, and so I probably got about $1 into that game, and it sold for $16.20. This was another estate sale pickup. This is I'm gonna make it bigger so you can see what it looks like. But this is a Hungarian, vintage Hungarian military officers parade shoulder belt, and it's got this pouch on it that opens up. I don't know what you put in there, and it's got this crest here for the Hungarian military on the belt, and I have no idea what that is. I think it might be like a pouch for gunpowder or something like that. If y'all know what it is, tell me, because I have no idea what that thing is. And I sold this this little emulator. It's just a little handheld. It was sitting on my desk for a while. It plays a bunch of old Atari games, but this is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. It's got this handheld controller. This piece right here plugs into the back of your TV set in the HDMI port, and this piece plugs into the power off of the HDMI. But that's what it looks like. It plays these video games. Here's a video of me playing one of the old Centipede games. So yeah, that thing sold for $14.40. It wasn't very much, but I didn't pay very much for it either. I think I may have 50 cents into it. I bought it at a yard sale. I sold this Sanyo video cassette recorder for $36, and I sold this Pokemon card for $49.50. That's the most I've ever gotten for a Pokemon card. But I had this whole deck of Pokemon cards, and I was going through it, and I'm starting to finally get them listed. These are items that I just don't enjoy listing. I don't really care for Pokemon. It just doesn't excite me at all. But if you're going to be in video games, you really got to look at Pokemon too, because apparently it's a big deal. But I was really happy with the price I got for this card, because I actually think I got the deck for free. I don't think I paid anything for that deck. And this is McFarlane, one of the McFarlane items that I bought at that yard sale, and I bought about 5 tubs of these. They're selling slowly but surely. I had $300 into all the tubs, and I still have a whole bunch of them left. I'm selling some of them in my booth, but this one sold for $31.50, and I'm slowly but surely getting my money back. I think I have gotten to the point where I have made my original money back, my investment, but I think I need to keep selling those that I have in my inventory in order to make a little bit of profit. This Wonder Spear magic ball, it was $1 at a yard sale. It sold for $26. It was brand new in the box. I still have one more of these. Had a blue one and a red one. This one sold for $26.96. And then I sold this Bose sound dock This thing's been in my store for at least 2 years. It sold for $76.50. I had about $10 into this at a yard sale. And I sold several consoles. I sold this Xbox 360 Slim with 3 games for $130. I sold this Super Nintendo. This was a Super NES. This was one that I picked up a few weeks ago. And I think I put this on one of my haul videos, but I got this. No, I did not make a haul video on that one. But I got this, and I got a bunch of SNES games with it. And so I've already made my money back with that. I paid $175 for that and the games, and so the $139 for this, and I've already sold two of the Zelda games for $40 a piece, so that was $80. So I've already in the profit on that purchase. This Xbox 360e console I sold for $135 with 3 games. I'm getting to where I'm not putting them with games anymore. These are some more of the DS games that I had. One sold for $11.70 and one sold for $13.50. Now I want to. These are just some of the things I'm gonna breeze past because there's just so many items. But this is one of those Hot Wheel cars that I had. That I did a video about this about a year and a half ago, where I went to a Dullum House, which is one of the thrift stores I go to, and I found this bucket full of Hot Wheels, and I started looking at it, and it turned out that it was a bucket full of old Redline Hot Wheels from the 1960s. I've already made several $1,000s off of the Hot Wheels that I've sold out of that. This one sold on December 30th. It's a 1967 Redline. It's a Diora, which is one of the more sought after ones. It was missing one of the surfboards, but it did have the button. It sold for $202.50. Now I only had $7 or $8 into that whole bucket of Hot Wheels. That's just goes to show you, you don't have to have a lot of space, and you don't have to have a lot of money. If you buy something real small like this that's worth money, you can store it anywhere and make good money off of it. So sometimes it would be worth it even if you don't have the space to get small items, but you have to be at the right place at the right time to find those items to be able to buy them. But this is a PlayStation 2. It sold for $126, and this is one of those games that I was telling you about that came with the buy that I made of that Super NES. This is one of the Zelda games. There were 2 of them, and they sold for $40.50. Both of them sold. I bought that Smith & Wesson book at a yard sale for $5. It sold for $44. This is a glass. I don't really sell a whole lot of glass, but this one I saw at a yard sale, and it was only priced at $3. And it ended up being some kind of black honeybee hive. It had like honeybees on the outside of it, and it was a candy dish. And apparently it was Indiana glass, which is sought after, and it sold for $60.30. This mug sold for $34.20. It's a Rosenthal. Those are supposed to be special mugs. I had like 6 of them, and I've sold all of them now. So I bought all of them for like $2 a piece or $1 a piece or something like that. And they've all sold for around the $34, $40 range. Sold this Nintendo DS Blue for $61.65. I did a video on this one where I replaced a screen, or I did something to fix it. It wasn't working. I know what I did. I changed the case out on it. But I worked on this one. And another PlayStation 2 for $127.80. I got this at that same estate sale for $3. It was a cassette player with headphones. Sold for $28.80. Sold some shoes. Another DVD player, VHS player. This came from an estate sale for $130.50. I paid $20 for this console and another console. and Wii Sports, another PlayStation 2. See, I've been selling a lot of video game consoles. So a lot of the video game consoles that I've had listed for quite a while have been selling. This American Eagle hat for $14. A set of Crave, these are a series of books written by Tracy Wolff. They're called Crave series, and whenever I get book sets that are in pretty good condition, I pick them up if they're a decent price. I paid $5 for this set, and it sold for $44.99. This is a really good purchase right here. This airplane, I bought a box. You probably have heard me talk about this before, but a whole box of these model airplanes and that are on the stands, and they were $1 a piece. This one sold for $77.40. I've already sold about 4 of these airplanes for similar amounts of money, but that was a really good turnaround. $1 into $77. And it didn't take up much space either. This digital camera sold for $57. So I had this field jacket here, military field jacket. I think I picked this up at a yard sale for $5. It sold for $130.50. Just a military field jacket like I used to wear when I was in the Army. Sold this Xbox One console for $126. Another one of those McFarlane. Another PlayStation 2 for $130. So you see, I've been selling a lot of video games, a lot of video game consoles and video games. This NFL Street 2, I picked this up at one of the thrift stores for $1, and it sold for $28. My Santa Claus that I picked up for $5, sold for $58.50. Here's a bundle, NES bundle that I sold for $108. But yeah, those are some of the things that I've sold. This vintage San Diego Chargers, you know, they're not the San Diego Chargers, they're the Los Angeles Chargers now. But this one sold for $58.50. I guess they bought it because of that. But here's one I wanted to show you. This is a console. I want to tell you a little bit about what happened with this one. All right, this console is, I bought it at a yard sale for $5, and it is like an emulator, and it plays the old games, you know, from the PlayStation, the GameCube, all that stuff, the Super NES, the NES, and it's all just on the same console. And it was working. You see down here, there is a seal right here on this SD card. Well, I'll tell you what happened. I sold this console, and the buyer sent me a message, said it wasn't working, and so they did a return. So they returned this console, and when they returned it, guess what? That seal was broken, and they had stolen the SD card out of it. Apparently they had their own console that was probably had a bad SD card, and so they bought this one thinking they would steal my SD card, and they did. They took the SD card out of it, sent me back the bad one, and the seal was broken. Well, I contacted eBay. I let them know what was going on, and that these people were fraudulently using the return system. And so I had to talk to the first guy I talked to. He said, well, you can refund them half of what the item sold for. And I said, no. I said, I shouldn't have to refund them anything. I said, they should be, I said, they should not get any refund. But if they do get a refund, it shouldn't come from me. It should come from eBay, because I did not sign up to get my items stolen, and that they need to be looking at the seller protection that I should have as a seller, and they need to take care of me as a seller. Well, they ended up finally, the first guy I talked to, he didn't want to help me out very much, so I said I need to talk to a supervisor. So I talked to a supervisor. I got a supervisor online, And the supervisor, after me explaining to him that I don't have a problem refunding somebody who is legitimately has an item that doesn't work, but when somebody steals from me and sends me back an item that is not what I sent them, then I don't feel like they should get a refund. Finally, the guy understood and took care. He said, "You're not going to have to pay, and there's not going to be anything negative about your, from your store because of this. But we're going to go ahead and refund the buyer out of, eBay's going to pay for it." And he asked, "Was that acceptable?" And I said, I don't feel like the guy should be getting a refund, but if you're going to pay, if eBay's paying for it, as long as it's not coming out of my funds, I don't think I can say anything about it. But that was an experience that I had. eBay did take care of me, and I was really happy that they did. But that's like the fourth time that I've had something that I've sold, and the buyer would have a broken item which was the same or similar item. That's when I always take pictures of the serial numbers, and like for example on that one there, it had the SD card was sealed. It had a factory seal on it with an initial on it, and it was broken. I made sure and included that picture in the listing so that people would think twice before they started, trying to steal from me again. But anyway, that's what happened. And eBay did take care of me, so I was really happy with that. But here's the last thing I'm going to show you tonight before I close out the live stream. But you remember this Atari bundle that I showed you on one of my haul videos? This is that Atari bundle that I had. It had 44 games with it. I bought this when I was in North Carolina visiting with Chad. It had 44 games with it. I cleaned up the games and I tested them and got them to work. And so here's a video where I was showing this is a Donkey Kong game, that they actually worked. Yeah, I paid up for this when I bought it because, it did have 44 games with it. So I paid up for it, and it was in pretty decent condition. Kind of took a little bit of a chance. I paid $100 total for the system and the games and all that, but it ended up working out pretty good with a total sale of $256.50. This is one of the items that I took to my booth and displayed in my booth, so it was in my booth for a little while before selling, so it worked out. But anyway, I have gone over my hour. I'm at an hour and 10 minutes now, and so I wanted to thank you guys for all being with me tonight. Glad that I felt well enough to be able to do this again. Last week I was not feeling good. I'm looking back at the comments that I missed. Traditional Hungarian military thing. And selling that stuff is very educational. Yeah, it can be very educational. Your margin is like 90% on sales. Yeah. You don't want to buy too much stuff for too much and sell it for a lot. That's true. Part of the sales process. Yep. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight and spending some time with me. And I appreciate you guys for spending 2024-25 with me. It seems like it was 2024, but 2025 with me. And I'm looking forward to going into 2026 and all the good things that we can do and have fun with, and hope that you guys do have a great and successful year this year, 2026. Hope that your health stays good and that you have good financial year, that everything goes well for you financially, and everything with your family and everything goes well. Chuck, we will continue to pray for your family and your wife, and hope that she continues to progress and get better. So you take care, and we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers. And thanks for being with us tonight. And Wanda, thanks for being with us as well. Also want to thank Invisible River Ranch for being on. He I always enjoy his comments. You have really good comments, Invisible, and Brent Mania and Marty, and let's see who else was on here. CG Anime Fan and Dash from Dallas Flippin'. Thank you all for being on tonight, as well as Wolfman's Goodies with Chad. Thank you for being here, and Badlands Bandit, of course. Always good to have you on. And we will see you guys next week. Hopefully I will continue to feel better. And so the plan is to do another live stream next Sunday at 7:30 p.m. If you're new to the program, come back and visit me, and we'll see you all next week. Look forward to 2026 and all the fun that we're going to have. I'm looking forward to heading out to Arizona, which I will be heading out in the next couple of weeks to Arizona. Looking forward to the trip out there, and looking forward to my little vacation that I'm going to have, and camping in the desert, doing the boondocking thing and all that. So I will definitely be making some videos, so you guys will get to see all that too. And I'll be doing my live streams from the road. But I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to you. Take care, and we'll see you next Sunday. And until then, y'all have a great week.